Hello, everybody. I'm Mel Doerr, the Aloha Shirt Psychic. Welcome to Mondays with Linda and Mel, and I got Linda going.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good. A couple things to get out of the way. One, it's a very, 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 very special day because it is Nicole. Now you're saying, who's Nicole? Nicole is Linda Grendel's wonderful daughter. I just love that kid. Well, she's not
Yeah.
a kid, but anyway, uh, I'll call her later, but I also want to wish her a very, very, very happy birthday. And so everybody out there, everybody wish Nicole a happy birthday. So there we are.
Thank you. Happy birthday, baby.
We
I
love
wrote her,
you.
but she hasn't answered me yet. She's probably still asleep.
Well, it's her birthday. She gets to do whatever her little heart desires, right?
Yeah.
All righty. The other thing in business, real quick, is we have 3 openings left for our Chicago event. I'm so excited about it. And so if you want to sign up, call us at my office, 847-590-5411. Again, 847-590-5411. Also, I've got some openings on my Italian and French Riviera cruise in May. I've got openings on my Peru trip for September of next year, May of next year. And I've got openings for Iceland. I just added Iceland for next year to see the Northern Lights in October. So that's going to be fun. So I've got.
So you won't be up there for the eclipse.
I've got to look and see. I might be.
Yeah, there's an eclipse there too.
I went to the one here this year.
I know. I remember.
It's incredible. Anyway, so we've got a lot of questions. I haven't watched the news. Don't know what's going on.
You didn't mention our event in September.
Oh, I'm sorry. We've got, like I said, we've got 3 openings left for our event in September. It's going to be the evening of the 26th, the 27th, all day long, the 28th. We've got 3 openings left. So call my office, 847-590-5411 for that. If you want a reading. And
That is already coming up pretty soon before you know it.
It's like, I'm going to be in Europe next week for like 9 days. And then after that, I'll be back. And I got the Rhine River tour in September. And then I've got our event. So
I couldn't keep up like that. I just couldn't do it.
well, I like to keep busy. It's just a lot, coming, but I'm excited. I'm excited about meeting a lot of people at our event. That's what I'm excited about.
Oh, and no, it's going to be so much fun.
Oh, we're going to have a ball. Okay. So are we ready for some questions, my love?
Sure.
I haven't watched any news. I just know, Kamala's really trending upward, and Trump is calling her a liar, and
there's Republicans that are deciding they're going to vote for her.
I saw that.
I never saw that.
Yep. I had predicted Republicans would not vote for Trump and maybe vote for somebody else. I didn't know if it was Kamala, but whoever was going to run.
Yeah. I had a hit a long time ago that I saw the reputes jumping off the ship like rats off a ship.
Yes, you did.
To get away from him.
You've been saying that a long time. I remember you making that prediction, and you also said that Biden at some point would pass the baton, if you will.
Baton to, yeah, I mentioned that. Because I got wrong. I didn't think that Biden was going to step down, but he did.
I didn't think he was going to step down.
I don't think he knew he was going to step down either. But that I got wrong, but I did get it right that she would be the first female president of the United States.
I got it wrong too about him stepping down, but here's the deal. When we predicted it, because I had talked to you about it, remember? And I watched your video where you were crying and all that.
Yeah.
But we predicted it, and it was like 3 or 4 hours later, he came forward and said he was staying in the race.
Yes.
And then it was like 3 or 4 days.
But listen, it was great cards. So I guess it didn't matter who was in there. It was great cards.
And I looked up Alan Lichtman. He is the guy who's predicted every presidential race correctly. He's a doctor of sociology or something.
Okay.
Since Reagan.
He's the one that does the keys, 13 keys.
Yes. And he said, He said we might have lost a key because they changed candidates. He said, but he's predicting Kamala.
Oh, good, good.
He hasn't come public with it yet.
Okay.
All right.
So that gentleman friend, Sean, the one that was on my show that talks politics, he put out a video, I put it on my YouTube page, that there was a leak that Shapiro would be the VP.
Okay.
So I said, cool. I really liked Mark Kelly, but anyway.
See, I like Buttigieg. Not
Me
because
too.
he's gay,
Yeah.
but because Buttigieg, fact. And I like
But I think Buttigieg might get an even bigger administrative position.
if she doesn't choose him to be vice president, it's going to be huge.
I think he might be Secretary of State or something.
But of course, I was also leaning toward Bashir because of Kentucky, and I'm from Kentucky.
But our Lisa, she was upset. She's like, you can't take, he's all we've got in Kentucky. Don't take
I talked to our Lisa in Kentucky. I talked to her, I called her on the phone after Biden stepped down, and she's right. And that might be a reason why Kamala doesn't take Bashir, because she wants to keep Kentucky some semblance of a Democrat.
Yeah, because it would be then, yeah, it wouldn't be good.
But Bashir is
Poor Lisa was so upset.
Bashir is going to campaign for her like there's no tomorrow on and so will Buttigieg. I think Shapiro is fiery enough to pull it off, and he's got the charisma. So
yeah, but oops, sorry.
Oops. There you go.
There we go. But
your beauty broke the camera.
I don't shoot. But why is Fetterman mad at Shapiro? Apparently they've gotten some words.
I don't know. That I don't know.
I just heard it on the news.
My feeling is they'll make up. I see them making up.
Okay, so should we first talk about the stock market?
Yes, let's go ahead.
Because that's on everybody's mind. And this is just a readjustment, you guys. And my friend Dan, he reads a lot of material on the stock market and stuff. It did start off at like 1,300 drop, and now it's up to 800.
And you know what? With the next few days, it'll come back up.
But also, they're going to give interest breaks. Mark my word. They might do it. They were planning on September, but they might do it a little interest. Not much, but something that'll make everybody buy stock.
I think the rates will come down a little bit, don't you? The interest rates.
Oh yeah,
That's what I see.
yeah.
And I think it's, depending on what's going on in the world, that affects the stock market. That is not a crash, by the way. A crash is when it plummets.
I remember watching CNBC. This was back when the 2008 thing happened.
Yes.
And that guy was on it, that one that talks all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched it drop 7,000 points.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, in fact, they even said that's got to be a glitch. It has to be a mistake, but it wasn't.
Right. I can remember when COVID hit, just watching it plummet. I asked what the market's going to do, and I pulled the star. So it's going to be in the news for 3 or 4 days. It'll kind of go like this. A lot of people make a lot of money when the market dips like that.
I know, because you can buy. Yeah.
That's right. So I would.
Oh, look at this. Don't worry. It's going through changes. It's fluctuating.
I would call this a correction.
A correction. Exactly. That's what they're calling it.
I wouldn't call it a crash. And I asked the outcome, and it's going to come way back up.
Oh, but even by the end of this month.
Oh, even sooner.
But apparently this happened because Japan's market crashed.
Right.
Really bad.
Well, that's
what was that about, or do you know?
There's a lot of factors that can control it. And I pulled another card on it, justice. So, I think Japan is going to have a lot of legal issues with it. But I see it.
What do you mean? What legal issues?
Well, there could be things put in place to keep a crash from that happening again, what created it, that sort of thing.
I know they stopped people from being able to trade, like in Taiwan or something.
That's why. That's a legal issue. Can they legally do that? I just see a lot of legalities around it, a lot of international law changing because of it. But you know something right now, I would buy. Clearly
No,
buy. And
yeah.
look, I asked the final card. Look at that.
Oh my God.
So
So it's just steady as you go because it really was taking off. And I think once Kamala is in there too, the stock market's really gonna. But apparently oil is really dropping, but more international oil because we do more oil than any other nation.
well, I had predicted that Biden, before he leaves office, would release a lot of oil in the nation's oil reserve to bring oil gas prices down a little bit. And
They are going down right now.
that's why. That's exactly what's going to happen. You know, the stock market's going to be kind of like a person having a heart attack, you know, like an EKG going like that for a while. But I don't know. It'll have a few more dips, big dips, but within maybe 4 or 5 days after that, it'll come back up. I'm not worried about it.
You know,
So
it's so weird. I've never had an interest in the stock market. I have no money in the stock market. I just would watch. All of a sudden, I got this thing that I wanted to watch CNBC. Don't ask me why. And then I read a little old lady at an event I was doing at my friend's salon. And she said, "Dear, I have a whole lot of money in the stock market. My husband had set it up. Do you think I should sell?" And I threw the cards and it said, "Absolutely." I said, I don't know about the stock market, but I can tell you the cards are saying to sell. She sold and within 2 months it crashed.
right. I don't think it's going to be a crash like that. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think it's a correction and we'll have more corrections. But unless you foresee a crash coming, I don't. I would tell people don't panic sell right now because that could cause a crash. Just sit on it and hatch it out, especially if it's good stock, you know?
Well, when the stock market is doing good, Trump takes total credit. And when the stock market went down, he said, "What did I tell you?"
Of course. But you know what? But you know what? Today's news is tomorrow's history.
Okay.
So I see the stock market coming back up, and then he's not going to be able. I mean, he'll take credit for it. Whoa, blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't think that's. I don't think that's going to have that much of a play on the election. To be honest with you, it's too
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
I psychically don't predict that it will.
Right.
Okay, here's a good one. Auntie Vaughn says, knowing that Project 2025 has been building steam since the 1980s, will they try to tame it down to be more palatable in 2029?
What is it, this again?
Okay. Knowing that Project 2025 has been building steam since the 1980s, will they try to tame it down to be more palatable in 2029?
I see it being dismissed,
That's what I see. I see Project 2025 going bye-bye.
especially after this new administration.
Because people, you know, it's funny that the MAGAs, they talked about individual rights, but yeah, they were the first one to take them away. So I see Project 2025 going bye-bye at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's sad that Trump has tore families apart, and that is the tragedy of what happens when people call for insurrection and almost civil war and that sort of thing. It's
Yeah.
that has torn families apart. I see America healing from Donald Trump. It'll take a while.
I do too. There was a friend of mine sent me a video of some woman, I'd never seen her before, that talked about she saw states succeeding from the United States and all this stuff. And as soon as she said that, I turned it off. And I told my friend, let me tell you something right now. We would be in a civil war. There's no such thing as saying we went out and see you because it's against the law. The army would come in and take over.
That's right. That would put us in a constitutional crisis. And
but she almost acted like, oh, well, all these states are just going to succeed. No, they're not. They can't.
It's illegal since the Civil War.
That's just like Neil Gorsuch telling Biden, you better watch out about making any kind of request on the Supreme Court.
When did he tell him that? I didn't even know he said that.
Yesterday.
What did he say?
He said he better be careful.
About what?
about putting restrictions or interfering with the way they're doing things now. They should be allowed to take all the money they want and be underhanded and do all this sneaky stuff. And he's got no right to interfere. And I
Well,
said, well, okay. He says, or else. That's what he said. I
what or
said,
else?
what? What army works for you?
That's right. Neil Gorsuch, I'm telling you something, there will be Supreme Court reform. And that
Oh, yes.
they don't get to take all the money they want. They're supposed to disclose it anyway. And I've been predicting this, and so have you, for a very, very long time, that the Supreme Court, even when Trump appointed those justices, that there's going to be a code of ethics that they're going to have to follow. And if they do not, they can be prosecuted. They're
I
not.
see them sitting before the Senate having to answer for their crimes, but I passed it around. There apparently it has been referred. Justice Thomas has been referred to the Department of Justice.
Well, that's why he came up with that thing about Jack Smith being appointed. He wasn't legal, blah, 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 because what he was trying to do was use that as a litmus test because he knew he was going to be investigated by the DOJ, and he was going to finagle his way out of it. And he sent Judge Loose Cannon that little memo, okay, and that's why she dismissed the charges based on what Clarence Thomas said.
And that's not going anywhere.
That's not going to go anywhere. I see 2 justices impeached. And maybe that's why you're seeing the trial in the Senate and all of that.
Well, I always thought that, I could be wrong, but I always thought that Thomas would end up having to step down.
Well, I see him gone.
But not being impeached, more like he's acting like his health reasons.
Well, he can, if he steps down, he's not going to be impeached, but I still see him under investigation, and I see him under indictment.
Okay.
And Alito too. So, how dare Gorsuch say something like that? Because, he's almost saying, well, we're like Donald Trump. We're immune. We can do anything we want. We're above the law. Wrong answer.
Wrong answer.
I see a lot of Supreme Court reform coming. And
we'll codify Roe versus Wade.
That's right.
And the Chevron thing will be reversed. Everything's going to be reversed.
Everything this court has done pretty much will be reversed. And those 6 justices, well, at least 3 of them will, not our 3, but at least 3 of those justices appointed by Trump will go down as the worst, and some not appointed by Trump will go down as the most corrupt, unjust court in the history of this country.
Right. Well, even Amy Coney Barrett, she's allowed to sit on cases that her husband represents. That's total bull.
No, there should be recusal. I see a lot of guidelines coming when they have to recuse, that they can't take donations at all. If even somebody offers, they have to disclose it. So that stuff's going to stop. I'm telling you now. All right. Anna Gonzalez says, during 45's administration, every intelligence agency acted like chickens with their heads cut off. Good analogy.
Good analogy.
How soon will we see changes that are effective in hitting all the foreign money and actors affecting our government? We really aren't a sovereign nation right now, and it's scary. She's right about that. So what do you think, Linda?
It's going to take us several years to sort it out.
I
see Kamala cleaning out the closet.
Oh yeah. Big time.
I see her going in a closet, throwing things out.
I think we'll see a lot of changes coming forward that to keep foreign players from interfering so much in our government.
Yeah.
A lot of people coming forward about, Putin's interference. And I just wonder why Netanyahu came to Mar-a-Lago. What do you think?
Oh, it's underhanded.
It's total underhanded.
Underhanded. The criminal himself.
Well, I see him gone. People in Israel are protesting. I see people in Russia protesting, and people in Venezuela. Let's don't forget Venezuela, because I see Maduro gone at some point.
I do too. Now, what is going on there now? What's the latest, or have you heard?
Well, I'm talking to a few people there, kind of in code, if you will, but there's still violent, there's still protest.
And he's in hiding, correct?
Yes, and there's a big food shortage and people, the infrastructure, which is really sad because Venezuela is a really oil-rich country, and it's sad that this is
Well,
happening.
they showed the actual votes, and they showed that Maduro lost.
He did lose. You know, years ago when I was in Venezuela, it was a democratic country, and I had predicted back then that they needed to be very careful or they'd lose their democracy. In fact, I saw that, and they thought I was crazy, and here we are. And you know, I think what happened in Venezuela is a harbinger for us. It could very easily happen here. So,
If he was to get in again,
oh yeah, it'll be Katie bar the door. But I do see people in Venezuela getting their democracy back.
oh, good.
So I'm sending lots of loving energy to them because that's where I learned Spanish. So it's kind of near and dear to my heart.
Right.
Okay. Two cats. I like that. Two cats, too many, it says. That's a good name. Will the Evergreen Action Plan be put into action, and will it eventually help us with climate change?
Evergreen?
The Evergreen Action Plan. I don't know what that is, but I guess the question is, you know, United States is one of the biggest polluters on the planet, believe it or not.
Really?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take about 3 years. A lot
Okay.
of work.
So there will be action to help curb climate change. Good.
Yeah, a lot of the young people are going to come into this new administration. You're going to watch a lot of the oldies but goodies having an exit stage left.
Well, I see it coming very soon when white old men who are bigoted will no longer be in charge of things.
Right. Like, what's his name? Kennedy.
Oh God, he's
Oh my God, when he
Family
talked, and yeah.
Well, that was the worm in his brain. Okay. Gina P says, howdy, folks. Howdy, Gina P. This is a good one. Given how red Indiana is, will Mike Braun, a Trump supporter, win as governor? If so, will Indiana enact any portions of 2025? The Project 2025.
Mike Braun, will he win?
I got a feeling he will.
I think he will win.
The other part of that, though, is, well, I see Republicans celebrating there, so I think he'll win. But if he tries to enact any of those portions of 2025, once we get different justices on the court, then it would go to the Supreme Court and they would say it's not constitutional.
Yeah, I see him being limited to what he can do.
That's what
And I actually see, I don't know if they are 6-year terms, but he might even be impeached. The young people are tired of his bull.
Wow.
That's what I get.
Okay.
He's going to be as bad as Ron DeSantis.
Oh, yeah. Bad. Okay, Connie Pearson. This is just a comment I want to share. This is a cool comment.
Okay.
Is anything happening?
I just was seeing that the stock market's back up to 38. It was down to 37.
I told you. So here we are. Okay. This is a good comment. Trump needs to go to Oz to get a brain, a heart, and courage, but they might not let him in. Maybe the flying monkeys can airdrop him off.
Now, there's a lot of psychics out there. I don't see it, but they see him not even being on the ballot.
He's going to be on the ballot.
Yeah, I feel it's already too late. He'd be on there. Even if he was dead, he'd be on there.
He's going to be on the ballot. I always seen him on the ballot. Okay, so, but Deceitful Don is, I mean, I've watched some of his, I watched that guy whose last name is Cohn. I can't think of his first name. He's really good, actually. I think I don't know if he's a lawyer. I can't think of his first name. He's got a really successful YouTube show. He has a lot of Midas Touch people on there, and he has a lot of times Lynn Kirshner.
Yeah.
And he's showing these video clips of Trump just being unhinged. It's like, whoa. Okay. I'm gonna start calling him deceitful Don or dozing Don, I think.
Yeah,
Okay. Um, Mary Alice Coleman says Midas Touch attorney Mark Elias from Democracy Docket.
I pay him every month.
Yep, I do. Uh, and one other interview, all are talking about election deniers taking root as electors from, let's see here. Let me take a look. Here. Let me start reading this over. Midas Touch attorney Mark Elias and one other interview, all are talking about election deniers taking root as electors from county to presidential election in order to not certify the election on all levels. How much damage and months of lawsuits will this be? Can this be stopped?
They're already trying to stop it.
They will stop it.
And the DOJ is on it like flies, so you know what?
Well, I mean, in the federal elections, the vice president certifies the electors or those votes. And if there's any fake ones, I mean, she'll have a list of the names from those states and who they are. I think she's already got it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to uncover a big plan about fake electors. That's going to come to fruition.
They're still going to do the fake electors thing, even though it didn't work.
They're going to try to do a lot of stuff with fake electors, but there's another plot that's going to come to light. I'm telling you.
Okay.
It's going to be old. All right.
Thank you.
Stop the fake electors. All right. Dawn Turner says in Alberta, in Canada, our conservatives are talking more like the chumps in the US.
Isn't it a shame?
Well, you know, it can very easily happen in Canada and in Australia and in Great Britain, other countries, what's happened here. It's up to you all in Canada and in Australia and in Great Britain to keep it from happening.
Right.
Well, cut them in their tracks, call them on the lies. Don't lose your voice. All right. Anyway, she says they're talking more like chumps in the US. Are we going to have problems with them? I know in Alberta, Danielle Smith is a chump wannabe. Thank you both. Yeah, Danielle Smith in Alberta is horrible. She's like a more Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh my God.
Worse. But I see at some point a lot of investigations about Danielle.
Yeah, there's going to be some hold on a lot of things because someone's sleeping behind the wheel. They're all of a sudden they're going to wake up and be on it.
That's right. That's what I see. And you know, she might gain in popularity for quite a while, but ultimately I see her wings clipped. So
now, I heard that the people that Marjorie Taylor Greene is representing are kind of tired of her already. Did you hear that?
yes. You know, I'm having a hard time seeing her stay in office. I could be wrong.
Oh, I think she's going to be let out by Jack Smith.
That's what I think too.
But I still see her winning. I don't know why. I wish I didn't.
Well, I see her out of office, so I don't know how that'll happen, but I just see the out. I mean, obviously, at some point, everybody's out of office, but I'm talking about a lot sooner than later. Okay, yeah, a lot of Republicans are voting for Kamala.
Hell to the yeah.
Well, I think Trump is. I had predicted many years ago when Trump lost 4 years ago that he would try something with fake electors or getting electors to change their vote. And behind the scenes, he's working on that already.
Oh, they've all got their attorney generals and people they think it's not going to be successful.
No, it won't. But he's working on it already behind the scenes. And even on the federal level, he is. But yeah. I see it exposed. I really do. And taken to court, and they won't win.
Nope.
And I see a lot of things put in place to keep in the future fake electors to keep this from happening with fake electors.
Exactly.
Okay. Hello, lovely Linda and Mel. Mystic Owl Sunny says, top of the morning to you all. Will President Biden be able to put another justice or two in office prior to the election?
I think maybe one,
Uh,
but when the new administration takes over, it's going to be a parade of them having to leave. There's going to be hearings, there's going to be a lot of trouble.
well, he's already drafted that thing for SCOTUS reform, but Johnson said it'll never come to the House. Well, we know that, but once Johnson's gone and once Kamala's president, I do see Supreme
I
Court.
see some stuff going on, but I'm thinking Thomas, not necessarily for illegal stuff. He may have a really severe health issue and he has to step down.
I heard a yes to that and I just got cold chills. So
Okay,
let me just check something real quick.
okay, okay.
Uh,
We don't wish it,
no.
not wishing, but we just need to know.
Oh, well, I pulled the high priestess. That means your intuitive hit is correct.
Okay,
Let me think here.
I've been saying this for a while. And then don't forget, I always saw Kavanaugh being picked up by the scruff of his robe and let out. So he's going to be in trouble.
Oh, look what I pulled for Thomas Judgment.
Ooh.
Ooh, let's see.
Yeah, he's going to go down. He's going to act like he's leaving because of his wife or something. I don't know. But
Oh, big conflicts around him. You know, when you said that, I heard a yes, and I got really cold chills. So, and what is that card? It's swords. It's somebody like laying down, and there's
4 swords.
yes, that's like a death card, I think.
It's like a coffin card.
Yes, that's what popped in my head.
Dang.
Going with that on Thomas.
Yeah, he's got a lot of, he's really worried, even though he tries to act like I don't care. He's worried.
I think Biden's got to be careful with trying to put other justices on the court between now and the time that he's, after the election, he will, but not before the election.
Oh, okay. Well, he might have to replace Thomas, but will McConnell try to act like, we're not going to allow anybody you pick because we're too close to an election?
Well, he can try that, but you know what? It was funny. He tried that before, but the bottom line is when Donald Trump was president, then he wanted to ramrod those justices through. So it showed his hypocrisy. But remember, the Democrats control the Senate, so Mitch McConnell can't keep it. I mean, I think Biden's gonna, after the election, put a couple more justices on. That's what I see happening.
Before Kamala takes over?
I think you're right. He might put one on before Kamala takes over, even if Kamala doesn't step down. And they're going to say he can't do it. Yes, he can.
Yes, he can.
Watch
this.
Presidential immunity. Let
me ask you something. Clear your mind. When Kamala wins by a landslide, this isn't going to be close.
It's going to be huge.
Will that get the justices nervous?
I think they're already nervous.
Okay. They're part of the reason that people are outraged because of what they did with Roe versus Wade. That was the sleeping giant.
Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, they're already nervous. For them to be making statements like this, the Supreme Court is not supposed to get hung up in politics at all. There's they can't.
Well, even with that opinion about Jack Smith, he had no right to bring that up.
That's correct. And I see things in the future where if it's not a case that they're not hearing, then they cannot bring something like that up. That could be something that very possibly should come to the Supreme Court. Right. He had no right bringing that up. He was just trying to save his own skin. Yeah. And Gorsuch said that absolutely a Supreme Court justice should never make a political comment or an opinion like that publicly. Because what if
you're the president of the United States?
That's correct. That's correct. Anyway.
Like, be careful. You better watch what you're doing.
Right. I mean, come on. That's a threat. All right. Grandma Forever says, please tell everyone when you go to vote to check your ballot.
Yes, they have been kicking people off the rolls.
If it has any writing on it, it will be rejected by machine. Ask for a new one. No, that's what I would do.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, when you go to get your ballot, if they write like something on the corner of it, it's no good.
I'd say, no, I don't want you to write on that.
Yeah, and give me another one.
What I do is when I vote, um, I would put it, if I do touch screen, that's one thing, but what if it's a paper ballot? I put it through the machine myself and I get a receipt that shows that your vote was
You
counted.
guys don't have mail-in voting?
We do, but I like to go to the polls and vote.
Oh, no, I like to sit my fat ass at home and eat a chili dog and it's always got juice of chili dog on it.
I just like to go to the polls. Okay, Ariana Bellasini says, hello, Mel and Linda. Do you see Kamala Harris serving 2 terms as president?
Yes.
Signed. Oh, great. You gotta hear how she signed this. Childless dog lady for Harris.
I think Kevin was on my live. You showed up later. I think he mentioned that. I think he said he saw 2 terms. And also, he saw something happening with Netanyahu next month. Some
Okay.
sort of exiting next month. I can't get the actual timeframes. I kind of guess it. So
I don't see him exiting next month. I think he still wants to
I
hold.
know he's going to have to go, but I don't know when.
I think there's more people going to be protesting in Israel. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know I caught your show at the tail end because I forgot I was doing something. Oh my God, Linda's on. So I came in to say,
I had over 6,000 people.
yay, good for you, girlfriend.
Jeez,
Up to
that was
81.
wonderful. It was so good. I was so nervous. I had to hold my stomach in and worry about not passing gas.
Well, he did blame the dog. Like chair squeaks.
People write me all the time. They say they love how Lulu and Jack, they can tell that they know when I'm ending my thing because they can hear the little tapping of their feet. Because they're like, oh, mommy's getting off the computer.
Well, if you have 5 or 6,000 watching, you pass gas, nobody would ever know, unless, of course, those plastic flowers behind you would just dry up. Then you know something.
The Dow was over 1,400 dropped this morning, and now it's 400.
There we go. And probably by tomorrow, the
It
next
might
day,
even be totally
it's
mute by the time we get
it'll
it.
be up. I'm telling you, it'll be up. Okay. Ooh. This is a good question. Hi, Auntie Wonderful Mel and lovely Linda. My question is, do you both see Pete? Oh, this is by Kathy Reagans. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Kathy's really cool.
She's very cool.
Do you see Pete Buttigieg becoming future Secretary of State?
I wouldn't doubt it.
If she doesn't choose him for vice president, the answer is yes.
I see him taking a big administrative position. I do.
But
Well, work for transportation, he's going into something else.
But I had predicted a long, long time ago. I even said it on your show. I said I see Pete Buttigieg as vice president at some point, and I see him as president at some point.
Very rarely does a president go to a second term and get rid of the vice president they have.
Right.
The only one I think that's done that is Trump, because his vice president wouldn't be with him.
Right. Well, if he gets rid of JD Vance, I think what they're doing behind the scenes with JD Vance is coming over with a plot to try to force him to step down. But if they do, the person they put in JD Vance's position will be even worse than JD Vance. So
yeah, I'm almost feeling like he really wants him gone. He's blaming him for his polls are slowly but surely dropping, and as they get worse, because they're not talking to the young people. They're talking to these people that have a regular line, They need to talk to the youth.
I think that they're going to try to, I think behind the scenes, they're going to meet with JD Vance at some point and force him to step down. I really do.
Okay. Because I don't remember what I said on my live, but I think I said he may, in fact, but he might still be on the ballot. That's how close it is.
Well, if he steps down, then he's going to come forward and say he was forced to do it. I got a feeling about it.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but we'll see. Oh, I like this. And Kathy Reagan's another one by Kathy. I love this question. I did want to touch on it today, actually. So Kathy, thank you. It says, Do you both see Jimmy Carter living long enough to cast his vote for Kamala Harris? I read this morning or last night that Jimmy Carter said he wanted to live long enough
He
to.
wanted to live long enough to vote for her. I'll let you say what you saw. I read on it yesterday.
I feel yes. I could
I
be.
saw no,
No, okay, well,
but the death card showed up. So he might get close, but I didn't, it showed a disappointment.
well, the death card doesn't necessarily have to mean death. It's a
Well, no, he won't be able to vote.
oh, I see. Or it could be like a death card meaning change, because it could mean change, like Donald Trump out, Kamala in.
Yeah,
Let's pull
but
one.
you know, you could be right.
Well, I don't know.
I hope you're right. I hope he would live
Um,
long enough.
um,
But he turns 100 in October.
oh,
And I'm going to tell you, I was seeing a disappointment at the Democratic convention. There's not going to be Armageddon, but a disappointment about a loss of someone, that people would have a little bit of a broken heart. I think that loss is Jimmy Carter.
okay, that I do feel them being sad about a loss. But you know, there's a part of me that knows that Jimmy Carter has the tenacity to say, I'm not dying until after the election.
Well, remember Betty White? She couldn't wait to turn 100.
Right.
And she died right before she turned 100. Just died in her sleep.
Wow. He's going to be getting a lot more publicity. I pulled the star, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a great question, though.
I know. I hope you're right.
Well, you know, he's in hospice. You know, if I'm wrong, I'll come out and say I was wrong. But you know, here's where we can, you know, sometimes psychics read on differently on things. You know.
Well,
Maybe
we thought for sure he was going to go soon after losing his wife, but
I did too.
you know, the thing is, physically, he's in such good shape. He's got that strong heart. You know, he's just, it's hard to take him down.
Okay. Here, Jeffrey Strong said, I live here on the island of Mindanao, Philippines. We had a 7+ quake a couple of days ago, not much damage, thank God. Do you see any catastrophic quakes in the next year for any of the Philippines? You know, I got cold chills. As a matter of fact, I see a couple hitting that's going to be like 7.2, 7.5 on the Richter scale. I see another big quake hitting the Philippines soon. I got cold
Wow.
chills. What do you
The
think?
Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
I've been feeling one around here. I've been feeling it. I've been waiting for it.
Well, the next question was from Doris Mosler. Do you see any big earthquakes on the West Coast?
I feel one is coming soon.
So do I. But you know what? The thing is on the West
Might
Coast,
even be by October. So go ahead.
like in California, the newer houses are made to withstand earthquakes, you know? I mean, or to be as earthquake proof as they possibly can be. Not so in the Philippines. So I see a big quake hitting the Philippines. Or
Okay.
tsunami. I keep seeing tsunami as well. The West Coast, I see getting hit by a quake that's up there. I mean, I don't know if it's a 7 is a big quake or not. There'll be property damage, but I don't think it's going to be a huge loss of life, thank God.
What did you pick up for you know, Peru had one of the biggest earthquakes ever. 9 point something.
That's huge.
That's the one that had the tsunami that wiped out Hawaii.
That's huge.
That was in the 50s, I think.
Right. It was a long time ago.
I'm feeling South America. I'm feeling a really good size quake.
Me too. That just hit me. I see a lot of earthquake activity. It could be like an 8 or something. That's what I'm thinking. I hope I'm wrong, but anyway.
Well, we got a few more minutes and then I have to head out.
Okay.
I mean, I have to run to my car and head out, squeal tires and try to get to my doctor's appointment.
Dakota Kelt says, will Katrina Christensen, a Democrat, defeats Senator Kevin Cramer, a Republican. He's endorsed by Trump.
Yes.
I see Kevin Cramer winning. Okay. We'll try gave Hammer, I can't pronounce the name, a Democrat, defeat Julie Fedorchuk, a Republican endorsed by Trump. This will decide who gets North Dakota's lone House seat. Ooh.
Who is this again?
Well, in other words, the question is, will a Democrat or Republican win in North Dakota? Because North Dakota only has one House seat. So a Dakota Celt is asking if Hammer, a Democrat, will defeat Fedorchuk, a Republican, who's endorsed by Trump.
Oh, I'm almost feeling like the Republican will win.
I think the Republican will win that one. But I do see us taking over the House and the Senate. So
Good.
All right. So next Monday, I won't be here.
Right.
I'll be back on the 16th. So anyway, everybody, if you want to come to our event, September 26th, the evening of, all day 27, 28th, 3 spaces left. Call my office, 847-590-5411. So
Okay,
Linda,
you're only gonna miss one Monday.
I'll miss one Monday.
16th is a Friday.
Oh, good. So then we'll be on the
I
following.
will pick back up on the 19th.
All right. So anything special you got coming, Linda? I know you
No,
got,
I need to talk to, I'm gonna have Sean again, probably tomorrow, the one who talks about the numbers. And I'm gonna have, Arthur wants to do a show.
now Sean is who?
Sean Briscoe, he's the one that does those, he really took off. He used to be hands-on on the street doing political, how they do these numbers. He knows all about it.
Is he a psychic?
Very informative. No, not a psychic at all.
Oh, cool. All right.
Okay, honey, well, I gotta go.
All right. I love
Bye,
you.
you guys.
All right, bye.